Coffee, right? Oh, we're gonna get going. Yeah. Oh, I forgot to pin everything to myself. Oh, okay. Coffee, right? Yeah, I better behave here, eh? I'm all like behind. There. Okay. Now I'm good. Now I'm organized. Um. So let's. Oh, you're back, Finn. Oh, I hope he doesn't bark. um. Let's talk about some plans for the new year. Um. One of the things that I wanted to talk about was practice routines. Like I did a little survey on my Facebook page. Not a lot of people responded, but the ones that did, one of the things that was coming up was wanting to practice more, and more consistently, and that's something that a lot of people struggle with. So I'm wondering, um, I think it would be worthwhile to just talk a little bit about practicing, and let's do a little. I don't know how to do a survey. I don't think. Can you guys just in the chat maybe let me know how many days a week you practice? Let's just narrow it down. Okay? So whatever, and if it's like, you practice every 2 weeks or whatever, just type it down and then we'll start working out a plan. I'm going to do the same thing for myself on this over here on my whiteboard. Sporadically. Okay. Maybe 2 times including today. I practice every day. Oh, I didn't practice yesterday. Did I? No, I didn't. Mostly every day. I'm going to say 6 days a week because it's kind of mostly 4 to 5 times. Okay. The holidays are a hard time to practice, hey? Practice scales. So ignoring the holiday season where it can be so hard to fit in practice because you're busy. One of the things that oh, you guys are going to hear my heater keep turning on. It's like it's really cold in this room. So you'll hear the heater turn on, but I won't be sitting here shaking. Uh, so some of the things that I wanted to talk about today was when I couldn't practice a lot. I used to play my guitar like 8 hours a day every day, but that's what I do, right? And then I hurt this hand, right? And I couldn't. Actually, I hurt my hand, and then I just kept playing until my poor hand. Um, so that sucked, but did it really? Well, yeah, it totally sucked. But this is what I wound up having to do. I wound up only being able to play 15 minutes a day. That was it. And that was probably one of the best experiences for me in terms of practicing because there's no way that I focused for 8 hours a day on my playing. I'd be sitting there going through the motions, but I would not be actively engaged in my practice. So that 15 minutes, the whole world fell away for that 15 minutes. And I took that 15 minutes that I had to play and I blocked it down into tiny increments. For example, like maybe 2 minutes on scales, and then a little bit of stretching, right? Because my poor hand, right? And a couple minutes on studies, a couple minutes working on a specific technique that I had that I wanted to work on, and then a reward of just playing whatever songs I felt like. And then my practice was done and I got up and walked away. Walking away was really hard for me because moderation is not my strength. So for what I like to do, I'm going to talk about strategies that I used, and it might be worthwhile for you guys because if you don't have a lot of time to practice, make your practice time count. Now, I did not necessarily do everything all in a 15-minute set either. I could play like for 5 minutes and then get up and leave. You know, there were times when I could only do that much. So if you guys only have 5 minutes worth of time, you can still make it a really valuable practice by focusing just on what you're doing for that period of time. So let me move my whiteboard along here. Hope it doesn't fall off. Yeah. Because this is for another thing we're going to be doing, but I don't want to erase it because I know how messy I'll be if I write it quickly. All right, get rid of my 6 here. So a 5-minute practice. Let's talk about that. What you can do in 5 minutes. A shockingly large amount if you totally focus. So the 5 minutes doesn't count tuning up your instrument or getting your coffee ready. That's separate, okay? So if you sit and you practice one finger picking pattern for 1 minute. Okay, just one. And these are examples of different finger picking patterns that employ the full plant technique. Okay, so and when I say 1 minute, like I would have to time myself. I'll put the timer on. When the 1 minute's done, take a little break, set myself up for my next practice, right? Whatever that's going to be, you know, or maybe I've got them set up on my music stand, so I just flip from one to the other, you know, however it works for you. So for 1 minute, finger picking pattern. So you're working your picking hand, right? Now let's do 1 minute of scales. Whatever scale, and have the scale that you want to do already set up in your mind so that you're not spending that time thinking about what you want to do. Okay, so next one's just a scale wherever it is. So let's have examples of scales that you guys like to play. I see Sharon's got her space set up and she likes to practice the C major scale. But which one? Totally plan it out. Oh, my tummy, I didn't have any breakfast. I'll drink more coffee. More coffee! So figure it out. So in terms of that, like you've got, and you might do a whole bunch in that 1 minute, right? You might play your C major scale open and figure out the picking pattern you want to do too. Okay, line up a few like index and middle, maybe just your thumb. Maybe you'll figure that out as you go along for that 1 minute. So there's your open. Okay, what about up and down one string? Okay, so we got that one. So there's two variations right there, just right off the bat. A 2-string C major scale. I'll write these down for you guys so that you can just see it's like a C buffet, right? So this one just goes right up that second string. When you play your scale, make it super valuable. This is one of the things I learned with my limited time. You can double up on your techniques, and I know we've talked about that before, like in terms of your learning. So you choose your C major scale in the position you want to have it. So that's one thing you're doing, right? You're doing your C major scale. Another thing you're doing, you're going to be working a picking pattern, whatever it is. Choose your picking pattern, choose your scale position, and then play it. Play it slow, build up your speed, use it as an opportunity to hone your finger picking skills and say your note names out loud. Don't say them in your head, say them out loud, because and watch your hands when you do it. It's amazing how much faster you'll learn if you're touching the strings, hearing the notes, and saying the note names at the same time. Connecting the three like that, I cannot emphasize enough how effective that style of learning is, at least for me, because I like to feel it, see it, hear it, right? It makes such a difference. So, oh, I wrote down scale, and then I went on a big talk. Okay, so different patterns, right? So patterns. So that's for your like your picking, right? Positions and note names. And you see how messy that is? That's why I couldn't erase that. That's a All right. So we got 1 minute of a finger picking pattern, 1 minute of a chosen scale. So this is just a 5 minute practice. Now, give yourself a reward. 3 minutes of playing whatever you feel like. Doesn't matter what you play. Whatever you want to play. It could be like an instrumental piece. And it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to, at this point, it doesn't have to be something you're working on. It's a reward. It's something you already like to play. Something you're comfortable with. Okay? I love 5 minute practices like that. I love them because you know what you do then? Then you're like, oh, I'm going to practice again later in the day. And then you choose a different picking pattern. You choose a different scale. Maybe you choose a different song to play as a reward afterwards, right? Work, work, candy. Work, work, candy. You can fit that 5 minutes in. And it's easier to think about it like that, right? Rather than thinking, I have to sit down for half an hour and work really hard. You know what happens for me? Like I'll play for hours a day. Now I know that I will sit and play for hours at a time, but I don't do the same thing. I break it up so that I'm able to keep my focus fresh. But this is an excellent start for it because then it's a short commitment. 5 minutes while your coffee's brewing, right? Sit and play a little bit. So that's what I would do with a 5 minute plan. So let's talk about a 15 minute. Maybe you're like, oh, I can do 15. If I can commit to 5, I can commit to 15. 15, you might still take little breaks in there though. So this doesn't count with the breaks. Like you might get up and go get that coffee that's been brewing. When I was able to get to, like at first I couldn't do 15 minutes. It was too hard on my hands. So the 5 minutes, that's what I would do. Literally, picking pattern, scale, something I already like to play. Because you know what I heard last month? Someone said this phrase to me, motion is lotion. Keep those joints moving, right? And I thought, oh yeah, that's a good idea. I like it. Motion is lotion. And it worked for my hand. This is a thing when my hand was so sore, just keep playing. Not a lot, just a little bit. Okay, so 15-minute practice. You guys tell me in the comments what you need to put in to practice. What would you have in there? One scale pattern, maybe two. I'm gonna wait and see what you guys say. Or you can unmute yourselves and just say it. You don't have to type it.
Still start off with finger picking patterns? No?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Keep the fingers warmed up, right? So pick a full plant pattern and maybe you'd like two of them, right? This is the thing. Because you can, yeah, I would totally still start off with a full plant. When I say that full plant, like a finger picking pattern that employs 3 or 4 strings. Like I've written down a bunch of 4 string patterns and then 1 3 string pattern. And you guys make it up. Figure out what sound you like, right? All right, so finger picking pattern still. So maybe now you play it a little longer. right? Maybe 3 minutes, maybe 3 minutes. We'll say 2 to 3 minutes of um, 2 to 3 minutes of finger picking patterns, and you would be surprised with how creative you start to become when you just choose a couple patterns. But at this point, you might want to combine them with a couple of chords that you like the sound of. And this is where this gives you the opportunity to make your practice as effective as possible, because maybe there's a couple of chords that you're not really sure of the name of or the position of. Work on them while you're doing your finger picking. So I would warm up with a couple patterns. First, just play them as open strings to get this hand warmed up. And then choose chords that you would like to work on. That's what I do. And I'll go up and down the fretboard. I'll just be like, oh, I like that chord. I'm going to use that one. Oh, I like that chord. I'm going to combine those two and go back and forth between them with 2 finger picking patterns that I like. And then it sounds really cool. And then you wind up playing for a while and just enjoying your practice, right? Okay, so 2 to 3 minutes of finger picking patterns. Well, you've got your warm up and then you combine it with chords, right? So the whole thing there of doing that might be 4 minutes. Okay, so just combined. Okay, so now we've got 11 minutes left. Ooh, chords up the neck or bar chords? Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so you guys all have some good ideas. Absolutely. I need to build up strength in my wrist. Music you want to learn, a challenge, and then something fun, your reward. Yes, always with the candy. Always. But you don't in a 15-minute set, I wouldn't leave the candy right till the end. You might need a candy break in the middle. Life is uncertain. Eat dessert first, right? Okay. All right. So we did some finger picking patterns and some chords. Right in there. Play or sing a favorite song. We're not talking about anything that's a big technical challenge. We're talking about something you like. Okay. Reward. So keeping in mind that this is what I do, right? This is how I get a lot of practice happening where it's play and practice, right? Okay. So you got your finger picking patterns, your scores, your chords. Now a reward, whatever you feel like playing. Now your hands are warmed up and your mind is warmed up. Hit a couple scales now. So your reward might take what? I don't know, 4 minutes. Maybe you have a song that you like to play and you do it a few times. Just enjoy. Okay. Now some scales. I would play most of your techniques and your songs. Yeah. Yeah, pick it in this way. So you've got your reward. Now you pick a song to work on, but have a specific technique you're thinking about. Right? Like maybe, oh, sorry, scales next. Oh, see, I ignore those scales. Reward, scales. Scales, 2 minutes maximum. But when you do it, pick your scale, pick the position, say your note names, and do it as slow as you have to do that. Again, you're going to watch your hands, play the scale. You're going to feel those notes underneath your fingers, and you're going to say those note names. Okay, so scales, and I'm going to say it's 3 ways to connect your learning. Scales, and then yeah, if you feel ready, then do some bar chords. And even just practicing, like that little tutorial I did where I just just make that shape, right? It sounds so cool. So right there, I just got 2 different picking patterns that I'm using, and I'm just practicing making my bar chord shape. So that could fit right in there, right? Just, and it sounds kind of neat, but it I guess the secret for me when I think about it is I find my practice works better if I'm entertained at the same time. Right? So I don't stay on any one thing for too long. That's what it is. All right, so scales, 3 ways to connect learning. Got the chords, finger picking chords, reward, scales. Is it time for another reward after the scales? Maybe. Oh, we better work on a new technique first, so let's do a new song right after the scales because our mind is warmed up. Okay, so this is where something you need to work on. So whatever your project is. Okay, so 2 to 3 minutes on finger picking patterns combined with chords. I would say it's probably going to be 4 minutes in total there. So we've got 8 minutes. Project part. Run that until you have a few minutes left, right? Watch the clock, set it for like however much you've got there. Run your project part. Give yourself like 2 minutes at the end for another reward song. Make it different than this reward song. Okay. Whatever it is, I would recommend tossing some singing in there. But you don't have to. It's just something where I would probably sing one of the songs. Okay. You may find that as you're saying your note names with your scales, you're singing the notes at the same time. It starts to build together, right? It starts to build together. So reward at the end, a couple minutes of reward. So it's not written in stone. You're going to take a look at what you want to work on and give yourself a few minutes on each one. Okay. So the reward songs, you know what happens there? You're actually doing repertoire practice. So if someone says, "Oh, can you play me a song?" Well, you've been practicing these songs by playing them and using them as a reward. So they're ready to go. It's a good feeling. It's just a good feeling. Consistency, Vicky, yeah, absolutely, consistency. So this is my longer 15-minute practice. But a 5-minute practice, it's amazing how much you can learn. Now the secret though is to let the whole world fall away. It's just you and your instrument and your practice time. That's the secret. Like, so if the phone rings, I don't answer it. Anyone's knocking on the door, I don't answer the door. Someone else can. Or you're away from home. You're away from home. You are giving yourself that 5 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever it happens to be. It's all for you right then and there. And when I had to start doing that, I told my husband, I said, in order for this to work, I have to ignore everything. And he knew that. It worked out really well, but I set the timer because otherwise I'd be back to 8 hours. This, though, works better for me than sitting there playing for 8 hours or 6 hours or whatever, because there's no way I could focus that long. Look at me. I don't have that focus. I can play though, but I don't have that focus. Just gonna take a look at, you guys all have good ideas. So let's take a look at these patterns now. Okay. And I've got a little study, part of one of my studies that I wrote up to go along with this idea of finger picking patterns and different color chords, because I love color chords. But let's just go through these. Okay. Let's I'm just going to do them open right now. Okay. So what I'm going to do is the first one, 4 3 2 1. And this is where you guys can make your own patterns. My nails are getting super long, but remember, I'm not necessarily picking with my nails. I know there's some new people on here, which is awesome. When I finger pick, I'm still using fingertip, and the fingernail just does a bright finish on the string after I pick. So you can do all of this with no nails, and it's okay. All right, there we go. Okay, so 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's run through that a couple times. So I'm making sure, like, see how I set my hand there, and then I go whoop, and shift my thumb, and make sure it's out of the way. So I set. So I set my fingers down the first time, and then after that, they're just going to hover. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's try the next one. 3, 4, 2, 1. I'll think about it now. 3, 4, 2, 1. So I'm using that full plant technique that we've talked about before, right? That sounds kind of neat. I just started writing them. Okay, now let's do the next one. 4, 3, 1, 2. I'm gonna have to look at my hand for this one, and I'm gonna say my numbers. 4, 3, 1, 2. 4, 3, 1, 2. Okay. Some of them, you'll like. Some of them you'll be like, hey, right? We're shopping right now is what we're doing. Okay, 4, 3, 2, 3. I know that I like that one. 4, 3, 2, 3. If you play guitar, play them on the 4 strings of your guitar. Or if you have a baritone. Ooh. 1, 2, 3, 2. Check that one out. So now we're approaching it. This was all from the one side of the instrument. Now we're taking it from the first string. So 1, 2, 3, 2. Now I'm using my fingers in that full plant, right? But maybe you're like, wow, I can't do that yet, and I've got to use, I don't know. Right? Maybe you've got to change your fingering, modify it. It's okay. But it's worthwhile taking your time with this. Do it as slow as you have to in order to get it. I like that sound. 1, 2, 3, 2. And there I am practicing that finger picking pattern, playing the A minor natural scale. The songs, they just wait for you underneath your fingers when you play these picking patterns. You start to think, oh, what could I do with that? And that's where your practice becomes really fun. All right, 3, 2, 1, 2. Figure out the fingering you guys want to use for that one. I'm going to stay with these fingers here, just because. 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. Now, everybody might have a different pattern that they like the sound of. Everybody might be like, oh, okay, well, I like this one. Oh, I like that one. This one inspired me. I want to play that one. But, I mean, possibilities go on and on and on with these, right? So I would recommend that you guys write down the numbers in different orders. You know what can be fun? You write them down on pieces of paper, put them in a bowl, grab one out of the bowl. Oh, okay, I'm going to practice that one. That is fun because then you get your finger picking, but you've also made it really, you've just left it to chance, and whatever one you get is the one you do. I did that. It was a lot of fun. Although, really, I just wrote down finger picking patterns that I liked, so I would always get a winner out of the bowl. So bad. All right, now what I'm going to do is get rid of these notes, and I'm going to write down a couple of chord charts. And they're going to be chord shapes that you may or may not have played before. My whiteboard eraser is somewhere. I don't know I am so grateful that Finn is so tired of just sleeping right now and not wanting to play. I feel very fortunate. He had a big playtime with you. Had a big playtime, didn't you? With one of his friends. They played for about 6 hours, and he's exhausted. All right, got a couple chords for you guys. These chords will need a 4-string pattern. Can you see that? Okay, so that's an A sus2. And there's a study coming for you guys with this. So part of this is to give you the idea that you can do what you want with these chords. So A sus2. Sorry, you guys. Does anyone know what the sus2 might mean? You're adding in an extra note from the chord that's not normally there to create tension and anticipation. And I love sus chords. So A sus2. No, pardon me, not A sus2, A sus4. We're adding in that note there. And that's a D. A, B, C, D. 4 notes away from the name of the chord. And it just sounds so cool, right? Like just strum that chord, check it out. Now the other one that we're going to pair with it is an F major 7. And it's going to be on the, like it's going to look the same thing, but it's on the 5th fret. Chord shapes like this, where you've got this notes ringing out like that. Oh, I just love that sound. Okay, so F major 7. Consistency, like Vicky's saying, is really important. And it's important to give yourself this time, to practice. But again, 5 minutes, you could play around, get used to those 2 chord sounds and shapes, and find a couple finger picking patterns you like, play around with that, then do a song that you like, and your 5-minute practice is done. Boom! And then off you go. So, A sus2. So floaty, right? Look at how I strum too. Do you guys remember what I've talked about before with that? If you strum straight down, you get that different sound, right? Where the tone is the same all the way along. Now go up to F major 7 off your 5th fret. Kind of clashy, right? You've got that back down to A sus4. Oh yeah. All right. Well, let's try. Just the first one. 4, 3, 2, 1. I'll slow it down. Okay, now we're going to go up to F major 7. Here we go. My ukulele, I think, has gone a little out of tune. Let's take it home to A sus4. When you play these chords, I gotta tune up. When you play these chords, don't just play them. Say the chord name. You don't have to do it every time, but if you do it at least a couple times, A sus4, F major 7, so that you're committing yourself to saying that, and you it just helps you to identify those chords. So those chords sound really neat, don't they? They're so floaty. Try a different picking pattern. Shop around. Okay. Just give yourself a minute right now, play around with the chords and see what sort of picking pattern you like. Maybe you like to play not just one, but maybe you like to play one and then another. You combine them. And maybe while you're playing that, you're like, ooh, I want to change a finger, and I make another chord. Right? Play around with the colors that are just waiting underneath your fingertips. I'm going to circle 2 picking patterns. Those are the 2 that I use in the study that I wrote that primarily use those 2 chords. Now check this out. So there's some different chords in there. I'm going to show you guys the tab for that now. But actually, no, just one minute. Let's just run through this picking pattern. 4, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2. So hit that on your A sus4. We'll take it nice and slow. Here we go. 4, 3, 2, 3. Now 1, 2, 3, 2. 1, 2, 3, 2. Do it again. 4, 3, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh no, I wrote it down wrong. 1, 3, 2, 3. 1, 3, 2, 3. I always mix up my numbers. Just erase it. Well, actually, that's a good picking pattern there too, but we're just going to change it. 4, 3, 2, 3. 1, 3, 2, 3. All right. It's good. Keeps you on your toes. But you can see right there, there's endless picking patterns, right? Okay, so let's do it one more time. On that A sus4. 4, 3, 2, 3. 1, 3, 2, 3. Here we go. 4, 3, 2, 3. 1, 3, 2, 3. 1, 3, 2, 3. One more time. So the only difference between the 2 is that starting note, right? That's why I like combining those 2. Okay, now let me show you the tab for this. I lost my mouse. Oh, there it is. I couldn't find the little arrow. There we go. All right, do you guys see that tab there? It's not. I'll just leave it like that for a minute. So I've got my chord shapes written above so that you guys can play them. I'll make those bigger first, I think. Okay, so you already have played the A sus4 and the F major 7. The next shapes, there's only 2 other shapes in this one. Pretty weird looking A minor, hey? I use my middle finger on the 5th fret here, and then index finger on the 4th fret there. And then I shift down just 1 fret to B7, add 11. Sounds terrifying, but it still just has those open strings ringing out all the time. Now that picking pattern I was talking about, 4, 3, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, 3, is right here. 4, 3, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, 3. So you just play that 4, 3, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, 3 once, twice, and then shift up to your 5th fret with that same chord shape. I'm just going to scroll down a little bit, so those chord charts are going to have to go, but there we go. You can practice playing the chords, like give them a little strum and make sure you know where they are, and then apply that picking pattern. And the only time that picking pattern changes is just right at the end, where you stay with a 4 3 2 3, shift your chord, 4 3 2 3, 4 3 2 3, and then the final note, 4th fret. So let's go through it. Let's play it nice and slow, okay? And again, this is just an example of a way that you can play around with chords and a couple of picking patterns at the same time. Okay, so here we go. On A sus4, I'm using my middle finger and my ring finger because of the chords that come right at the end. Okay, here we go. This is going to be our tempo. Okay, nice and slow. That's our 8th note tempo. Here we go. 3 and 4 and A sus4. Here comes the 1 3 2 3. And again. Next up is going to be our F major 7. Okay, so everyone shift up to your 5th fret. Yep, 5 and 5. Good. Here we go. 4 3 2 3 1 3 2 3. Next line we're going to do it again. 4 3 2 3 1 3 2 3. Now back down to our 2nd fret. Everyone's there? Okay, right on. 4 3 2 3 1 3 2 3. One more time with that chord. 2 3 1 3 2 3. Now you've got the busy chords at the end there. Shift your middle finger up to the 5th fret. Index finger falls on the 4th fret. And your pattern is 4 3 2 3. And then you shift your index and middle finger down to frets 4 and 3, and you play 4 3 2 3, back to A sus4, and then just a pluck on your 4th string. I'll make this, I'll just scroll it up. So let's just try playing it again. And then maybe you will have different chord shapes that you like to apply to that picking pattern. Or maybe you want to play around with the chords and move them and make different colors. That's okay too. Okay, so A sus4 again. Do you guys want to watch me play it? Would that be worthwhile? Yeah, okay. There we go. I need a sip of coffee first. So just remember when you're thinking about it, it's just that picking pattern until the end when you're just focusing on the 4 3 2 3. Okay. Middle finger. So in terms of techniques I'm working on here, I'm using my middle finger all the way through to shift between chords. Okay, so I've got an anchor that's happening. That's one of the techniques that I'm applying in there, as well as 2 different picking patterns. The other thing I got to do too is also not be sloppy with my hand. Otherwise it covers that 1st string. So I've got to make sure that my hand position is solid. Here we go. Then again, 4 3 2 3 1 3 2 3. Shift up to your 5th fret. When I go, I often do that lead with my middle finger and then put my ring down. It's just a habit I have. And again, 4 3 2 3 1 3 2 3. Back down to A sus4. like this one on the reentrant tuning ukuleles too. I think it sounds cool either way. Now up here, so this is a different voicing of your A minor. B7 at 11. A sus4. Now I'm going to play it I'm just going to rip through the thing so you can hear the color changes, okay? Whoops. Rip through it so you can hear me make a mistake. Okay, let me try that again. Well, and there's a good example of how if you make a mistake, it's really not the end of the world. So there you go. Anyway, the song goes on. It was inspired by a composer named Villalobos. I'm going to write his name down. He's a guitarist, Brazilian guitarist. Love his compositions. Anyway, I find a lot of inspiration from him and a lot of the different color changes, things like that. So I know that was kind of a lot of talking about different practice strategies and whatnot, but that just playing a study like that gets you going on playing different chords, different picking patterns, working techniques, so you get everything done at the same time. Did anybody find a picking pattern and they were like, "Wow, I could play that while I'm playing with friends in a ukulele circle, and I can just finger pick a pattern"? You might want to think about it. You might just be all like, "Oh, I'm going to sit and play." Oh, I don't know. C, A minor. Fourth. Okay. I confused myself. Needed the practice strategies for a new year. Yeah, we all need the practice strategies for a new year, right? I'm taking the James Hill Teacher Certification Program this year, so I plan on just get through. I know, I'm so excited to be doing it. I'm so happy to be doing it. It feels good. And so my plan is to just whatever I learned from him, I'm just going to share with you guys. Right, there we go. But I felt like it was time to really spill the beans on how I practice, because I mean, I'll sit and play for hours, right? But if I want to practice, short, intense bursts of practice rewarded by candy. Ren, yeah, you took the teacher class with him last year. And you did the level 1, right? Are you planning on doing the level 2?
No, not at this time. I still have to keep practicing my level 1.
Well, I think there's a lot more in there than I realize. I'm looking forward to it.
And he does a lot of technology, right? How to do some songwriting with the different technologies. So that's a huge learning curve as well.
And he uses Note Flight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I use Guitar Pro, so I was looking at Note Flight, and it seems like it would be a lot of fun, but yeah, there's a lot to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I used your stuff though.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did. I used a lot of your stuff.
Oh, that's so cool.
When I was getting my certification, so you'll be just fine.
I'm gonna have so much fun with it. I'm so excited. You guys, we haven't done Fields of Gold. I was so busy talking about all the techniques. This was intense. Let's just play Fields of Gold now, okay? All right, so let's take it back to, let's make it easy, okay? Fields of Gold, Part 1, Level 2 is what I'm looking at right now, and I'll share it on the screen. Oh. I think I shared wrong. There we go. There. Okay, that looks right. So, remember all those finger picking patterns I just talked about? You can always toss them in here where the chords are on that on the fourth line. What I'll do though is I'll make this bigger and we'll just scroll through it as we go. Okay. Nice and slow. This ukulele just doesn't want to stay in tune, and my other ones are out. Okay, it's just going to be a bit more exotic, the tuning. That's just the way it's going to be. Sorry, you guys. Here we go. 1, 2, and 3. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 2. Next line. F chord. 3. Do you guys want me to slow down? I'm kind of ripping along through it still, aren't I? Yeah, here we go. Now we're heading to that F chord. F3, open. F3, 3. O under the C chord. 3, 2, A minor. Next line, here we go. F3, O, chunk of your C. 2, O, F, O under the G. Okay, and now just our chords, pick them, strum them. Under the F. 2, and again 3, and 4, and then under the C. Okay, right here. And now this one goes for 3 beats. 1 and 2 and 3 and melody. 3, 2, next line, A minor. 3, 3, 3, 2 under the F. And another F, 3, 3, 1. I gotta scroll up. Sorry, you guys. Okay, here we are on the C. C3, 2, and a little pluck of those 2 opens. Nice and quiet. Here we go. 3, 2, A minor. 3, 3, 3, 2 under the F. F3, 3, little pluck your C. O1, next line. F, O under the G. O2, O, C. 2 and 3. And you guys cover the 3, 2 for me while I scroll. Wee. 3, 2 under the A minor. 3, 2 under the F. And F. 3, 3. O1 under the C. Remember, anything that's lower like this, like on the lower part of the tab, I tend to keep it kind of quiet because it's not part of the melody. Okay, let's pick it up on the next 3, 2. 3, 2 under the A minor. 3, 2, next line under the F. Under the C. 2, O under the F here. F, O under the G. O, 2, O. Okay, have fun with those chords. And 2, and again 3, and 4, and under the F. the C, and 2, and again 3, and 4, and now 3 beats. 3, 3, 2, A minor, 2, under the F, 2, F, 3, 3, O, O. Now we're right here under the C. O, 3, opens there. Under the A minor, 1, and 2, and 3, 2 under the F. 2, O, one last line, F, O, O under the G, O, 2, O, just a strum on that second ending for your C. Now, you guys probably, well, you may or may not have had a lot of time to practice over the last couple of weeks. It's also hard to practice if you don't have someone like at you. It's the way it goes, right? So what if we plan for this for next lesson? Work on that study, the meditation. You don't have to use those chords. You could use any chords you want, but it is nice to play around with those different colors. Right? So practice the meditation or apply the concepts of those 2 picking patterns from the meditation to whatever chords you want. Don't play it forever, right? Make it part of a 5-minute practice, or if you have more time, a 15-minute practice. But try to play a little bit every day. And I think we should play around with Fields of Gold a little bit more next week too, okay? Because that was very short, just a kind of a reminder of how it is. Is the study going to be on your website? Oh, it is, yeah. Absolutely. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop my live stream and